Yes. He
What is that?
speaker. Yeah. Where did I get this? Oh, I got it from Herbalife this morning. That's right. How come you haven't met me there yet? I just thought about this. How long has it been since we're?
That's a good
You've
question.
been saying you're supposed to meet me there in the morning,
Our first guest on the show. So a year,
right? Oh, dude,
we're coming up on a.
This is a year show.
Is it a year? Is today
January? For this?
No, we
well,
filmed in 20. Well, you're right.
Well, I'm just saying official.
We did
this
official.
We did a practice and
We are a year in.
Where is that peppermint? I had a peppermint. Dude, this is we are coming up on a year for this show.
Damn,
man.
that was fast.
It was.
So you ain't got no peppermint for me?
I don't have a peppermint.
Damn.
Sorry.
Okay.
I think you need one. No,
man.
You're good.
Getting this Yuck Mouth. Remember Yuck Mouth? Hey, remember the rapper, the artist Yuck Mouth?
He was just on the hip hop, the show I was talking about, the Grammy. Really? Yeah, they did the Loonies.
What did he win?
No, they performed. They performed.
Oh, he just performed.
5 on is a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was he's still around. That song's a hit. It'll be a hit forever, and he'll be always known for the 5 on it song. Yeah. What you know about Yuck Mouth, man? Isn't that
not very much?
That's before your time, huh?
A little before.
So since we're on the topic,
millennial.
You got
millennial.
me. You're millennial.
I know.
Since we're on the topic, you're gonna have me reflecting and going back to my high school days, right? I remember I was a junior in high school. I think when Loonies first came out, and I had bought the tape.
TVs have color at that time, or
the hell with. I got some choice words I could say, but I'm gonna keep it professional. They did have color. They did have color. Okay. And I was listening to it on a tape deck. Now that's ancient right there. What you know about tapes? You remember cassettes?
You got to rewind them with your finger.
No, not with your finger, but you. But you put it in do you know what? Have you seen a cassette tape?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they used to have these
like A side, B side.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So you push it out and it ejects. So it was a Walkman. The initial Walkman was a cassette tape, right? And then after that, it became the disc player. The disc players came next, the CDs, and you could walk around.
But then he bounced and it would skip.
Right. That was a CD.
CDs.
So that was probably a little bit right when you were a kid. But before that was cassettes. So the issue with cassettes, it wasn't really about skipping. It was about the tape, the film sometimes will get caught in the tape deck and it'll get all messed up. So we had to take the tape out. This is for all my old school people out there, my Gen X and older. Gen X
generation.
Right. We'll talk about that.
We will talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, this is all my Gen X's out there and older. Remember we had to take out the tape, the cassette when it got messed up, and we'd have to use our finger then to wind it back up.
See, I knew something with that. I remember something
to fix it, to get it back in place so it can be,
But it had to be flat though, right?
It had to be flush, exactly.
All inside.
Right. Yeah. Those were the days, man. And you just put it in there. So you had the A side, B side, fast forward, rewind. So those were the days. So, anyways, I don't know how we got on that topic. But we were talking about the Loonies, and that was the first tape or first album is when I was listening to it in the tape. I have memories of that on the Muni train in San Francisco, taking the train to
Bay Area native.
Yeah. So, good old days, man.
Good old days. Okay.
But, man, I guess this is a reflection show. I mean, it's the end of the year, and we got to do a recap show, I think. I don't know how. I just thought about it.
I didn't realize that was already coming up, man. So yeah, we definitely do. We need to have what we should do is we should do a panel of the most viewed episodes with the guests that were on the most viewed ones, the top 5. Just throw all of them on there.
Right.
Throw all of them. I know. Sam's got to be one of them.
Oh, for sure.
Shout out to Sam. Sid's got to be another one.
I mean, all the episodes with guests were awesome and amazing and enlightening.
You know who has the most, I think, is Anthony's Tacos.
Anthony.
We got to get Anthony back on here.
He did get a lot.
I've been seeing his name everywhere. I think he's doing well.
Yeah, they're doing good, man. They're posting a lot more. They're doing their shout out to Anthony's Tacos. Great tacos. Bidia. If you never had Bidia, guys, go check them out. It's bomb tacos. But I think, the next show I would say let's at least shout out everybody who came on, every guest, and then recap, right? And we could let them know the top viewed. But we got something special for you guys since it is the holiday season and it's the season of giving. When really I'm taking on this thing next year where every month is giving. So That's if there was a resolution to be made, I think the only one I would have is just to give more every month and more frequently, more consistently, whether it's charity, church, helping people out.
I like that.
It's just the spirit of giving. 24. That's what it's about. But yeah. So we're at that. We have something special for you guys. We're gonna be doing a raffle. We're gonna do 2 raffles. We'll get into that later because I want you guys to listen to the pod. But we'll announce, I guess, the information and details later on. But you're gonna have 2 chances to win prizes. The big prize is about $200 gift card. Then we're gonna have some other earlier prizes. But tune in for that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Until we get to that information, let's jump in to this hot market on heat speakers.
Yes.
With these rates.
Oh.
These rates going down. What is it doing to home
bell.
buyers?
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Great. Guys, this information is fire.
We need to touch on what's going on this realtor side, the agent side with these sellers and these buyers. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What's the sentiment in the market? And then also on my side with where are these rates at?
Yes.
Where are they going to continue to go?
Right.
And what can we expect for the future, or at least for the start of 2024? Nobody's got a crystal ball.
Right.
But at least what it appears is that we are seeing some major relief right now. Yeah. Some major relief. Affordability has been a word that has been thrown around for the past year and a half. With these rates dropping at the rate that they have been so far, we're seeing affordability for a lot of buyers come back.
100%. Oh, man. Let's give them the great news. I'm going to let you do the honors right now. I don't know how you want to, let them know or bring it out. But the rates, guys, we were the peak, I believe, was like 8.03, right. Over 8. Today is what? December 13th.
Yeah.
2023.
Conventional loans.
Where we at, buddy? Let them know.
Conventional loans, high 6s. Whew. High 6s, low 7s. We were a full point above that about a month and a half ago, right? So conventional loans were high 6s, low 7s. The reason I give that range is because no situation is exactly the same. So everybody's credit score, their debt to income ratio, how much money they're putting down, whether or not they're buying the interest rate down or not, all of that differs from person to person. So I'm not going to give an exact rate. It's different between everybody, but a range would be high 6s, low 7s for conventional home buyers. Now, if we're looking FHA, VA, USDA, the government loans, we're actually looking low 6s, high 5s.
No way.
Low 6s, high 5s. Now, high 5s is going to incorporate, a little bit of extra money.
Sure.
At closing to buy that rate down.
What?
But we can get nowhere near as much money as
So first-time buyers who typically use the FHA loans, and they can potentially get a 5 point something.
Oh yeah, 5.875, 5.99. Yeah, that's where it's at right now.
That's a beautiful thing.
Anybody who's purchased a home with an FHA loan, VA loan, in the past year should really be checking in with their lender to see where their interest rate is at and where they can refinance to. Refinance is a word we have not said in a year,
right? Because
the rates just continue to increase, and anytime you refinance, what you're doing is you are buying your home from yourself at what you expect to be a better rate in term.
Right.
So anytime that we're applying for a home loan, even if it's a refi, that's exactly what you're doing. You're applying for a home loan. You're applying to buy your house from yourself. Now, the 2 parts that you had to consider when you were buying the home is a down payment and the closing cost. On a refi, you already own the home, so you're not going to give a down payment to yourself. So that's X'd out. But there's still going to be closing costs. Now, when we're going to pay these closing costs on a refinance, the expectation is that the rate and the term is better. So your mortgage payment is lower for the next 28, 29, 30. If you started over, it's 30 years. But if you want to stay right where you're at, if you own it for 3 years, you can do a 27-year refinance. So the expectation is that your rate and term is better. But you still have that closing cost. A lot of times that closing cost of $4, $5, $6,000 is nothing compared to the amount of savings you're going to have by doing the refinance. So that is something that has not been happening over the past year because of the rates. But with the huge drops we've seen in the past 45 days,
we finally got relief.
There is relief on the way. And I have already done some for buyers who bought earlier this year.
Really? Already? Refis are starting to happen already.
They're already hitting the system again with decreasing their interest rate, restructuring their mortgage loans, because that's just where the interest rates are at right now.
Yeah.
So FHA is going to be high 5s, low 6s. Conventional, high 6s, low 7s.
It's finally turning affordable, guys, out there. And also purchase mortgage applications are up, I believe.
They are.
I think I heard 7% week on week. So the market is finally changing, guys. Relief has come, meaning rates are down. Hopefully this trend continues. But now maybe more than ever is the time to really get serious and talking back with your loan officer, to whoever you're dealing with, rerunning numbers. Because I know those payments are drastically down from maybe earlier this year when you ran the numbers with your loan officer, and they were, I bet, very high. But rates are down. You know, we can get a 5 in front of it, and that's gonna change that monthly payment for you and increase your purchasing power. So that's a blessing. And I just feel this. I feel it. I feel the sentiment. It's starting to pick. It's gonna start. I think we're gonna start off really strong for 24, the top of the year. Once the holidays are done, I'm already getting calls from people, and I'm letting buyers know, like, hey, rates are down to this, and now they're getting more excited, and they're about to get back into the game right now and home searching process. So, yeah, it's on. Real estate is. I don't want to say too early, but I think real estate is coming back, man. It's going to be back.
I'm going to be honest with you. Even
activity's back.
Let's say it goes back, right? Let's say it goes back to high 7s, low 8s. Let's say it goes back there in 3 months. Yeah. Right now is a golden opportunity to take advantage of this window where sellers have not caught up with the kind of power that buyers have. So sellers are still listing homes with the expectation that it's going to sit a little bit longer than 2 years ago.
Right, and it will because of the time of year we're in.
And sellers, right? So sellers are still under the impression that the market's tough right now. Let's just expect to sell at what we think is reasonable versus what we want. So sellers are still in this position where they're thinking that, hey, it's tough to find a buyer, so let's just market to find one. Right. And if we get one, hey, let's do what we need to do to close this deal. Yeah. Whereas buyers are in a position where affordability is coming back. Yeah. Okay. But you can still also ask for seller credit. You can still also ask for 10% or 10 grand off. Right. You can still do these things even though the market is shifted in a direction that aids you. Right. So that connection has not been made yet. Right. And mark my words, if we continue on this path with the rates coming down, eventually this news is going to get to the sellers. Oh, yeah. And you're no longer going to see seller credit. You're no longer going to see offers under list price. You're no longer going to see this. But as of right now,
but once this podcast goes live, because we got millions of viewers, that's our goal. But
as of right now, December 13th, sellers are not aware that this market is indeed shifting. So there is a pocket of what I would say 4 or 5 weeks where you can still get a fantastic deal and 100%. Still have a low interest rate.
100%, guys. You got to know that. That's how real estate, that's how anything works. It's all about finding where the opportunity is and striking and being ready. Right. And that's a lot of, myself as well. Like, just not knowing when to go, when to strike, and not being ready once the opportunity presents itself. In some cases, not even aware that the opportunity exists. So that's what our job is. Mark's just letting us know where we are, which is very true. Rates are lower now. But however, the market hasn't transitioned as far as prices and expectations and how it's been virtually slow. So go out there, get your good deal, man. This is the time to get pre-qualified ASAP. Hopefully you get a 5 something in front of for your rate, and then you shop home as you home shop. A lot of homes been sitting, and you can go in there, ask for closing costs, maybe get it under the list price. That's a win-win for you. Win-win. I mean, that's just. You can't beat that. And a lot of times, this time of year in general is a lot of times this is when the opportunities come. You can find those, little deals that are there because you're going to have sellers that have to sell, and as we're closer to the end of the year, it's always typically a slower time. Yeah. Everyone's in the holiday mode and not really in the home shopping. So it's slower. So this is a time, when you could definitely find some good deals out there, guys.
Yeah, you stack that holiday season on top of, there's not a lot of buyers out there anyway. You're going to see a lot of discouragement, a lot of, we'll do it next week. A lot of putting it off. But if you don't view it that way, if you attack it like, hey, we want a house. We're in a position to buy a house. Let's go shop. Right now is a great time to get seller credit, home price reduced, and get a 5-6% interest rate.
You can't beat that. Like,
the only way you beat that is if these rates continue to come down to 4 or 3. True. And if you want to bet your money on that, go for it. Wait it out.
Yeah,
but
that's not likely, to be honest.
Yeah,
no time soon.
That's greed. That's greed.
And worst case scenario, if it does next year come to 4.3, you can refi that. You can try to refi.
Yeah, but if you're gonna wait to shop at that point,
oh yeah, well, you're gonna miss out. You can miss a lot of opportunity.
Miss a lot.
Because what's gonna happen is, and this, let me just clear this up for a lot of people. When you wait, you hear it all the time. I'm gonna wait till the rates go low. Wait till they go 3. That sounds good. It sounds good, but it's not completely the best strategy, because once it does hit 3, what do you think is gonna happen? It's gonna be 2021. Early 22 all over again. Yep. Rates are going to be low. Everybody's going to be out looking for a house. Then all that's going to do is drive up the price of the house, because you're going to have 10 to 20 people making offers on this house, because we still have an inventory shortage, right? It's still not a ton of inventory. So what limited houses available, and as the rates get lower, right, it's going to be more competitive for buyers, right? So you're going to end up, you might get a lower rate, but you're going to pay more for the house.
Yeah.
20, 30,000 more than you would pay for it now. So you got to look at it that way as well.
And it's important to understand that 20 or 30,000 more may not be financeable. Now, what I mean by that is, if you offer 20 or 30,000 more just to get your offer accepted, and they choose you because it's listed for 400, but you put in 430, if that becomes appraised for 410, that additional 20 grand difference between 410 and 430 that you offered,
yep,
the sellers are still going to be accepting that, and they can easily kill this deal if you're no longer going to move forward with it.
Right.
But that 20, 30 grand that he's talking about, if the home is not worth it, no bank is going to lend it. Nope. Okay, so that difference is going to come out of pocket, and that will happen. And the reason I can say that with certainty is because we just left that market 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, we
just left that market. So can it happen again? Absolutely. The writing is on the wall for it to happen again. I don't know that it will, but everything is in place for it to happen again. So
if rates ever get to 4 or 3%,
it's happening again.
It's going to happen. I mean, there's nothing.
I think 5 is okay.
I think
we may not see
it
at 5,
right?
But we hit high 4s, mid 4s, low 4s. I would imagine that we're going to see that again.
Because what we're going to tap in, we're going to see some with the 5, but even with the 4 and 3, you're going to see more and more homeowners ready to downsize and sell their home, and either downsize or move up, right? Depending on what their situation is. We're going to see a lot of that happening more, which is going to add more buyers and more competition to the market to buy, which is going to elevate the cost, because everyone's going. Everybody's moving, right? Now, as they stay around the 5, maybe 6, you're going to still get those homeowners who are like, it's still not worth it for me to sell and buy a new one, because it may or may not, right? But the 5% or 6 is still really good for that first time buyer, or someone that just wants to buy a home, because they've been waiting for this time, and it's been, they tried this year or even last year, but actually this year, and rates were too high, or even last year too high. Now that they're down, now they should be back in the game, right? So agents, I'm sure you're already knowing, agents out there, lenders, I would say go ahead. If you haven't done it, go circle back around with your whole database, all your leads. Anyone that was interested in buying earlier this year, but the rates were too high or the payments were too high for them, call them now. This is the time to call them, reconnect, let them know where rates are. See if
everybody
it makes sense. Yeah.
Whoever closed, whoever didn't, any agents you've worked with, any agents you haven't, any lenders in the business who you're cool with, any lenders in the business that you're not cool with, reach out and get everybody's perspective. Let them know that, hey, my business is still active.
Yeah.
I outlasted these high 7, low 8 rates, and I'm still here. It looks like business is turning around, and I'd love to do something with you. Like everybody, you should be reaching out to everybody right now.
You're right.
Everybody. I mean, not that should ever change, but you're going to get a lot more resistance, maybe a lot less replies when it's 7%, 8%, and the home prices are still climbing. So you got home prices climbing, interest rates climbing. You're going to get a lot less response.
Right.
But at this point, where home rates are pretty stagnant, they're not going up as quickly as people would have expected, or I think some people expected them to come down, but they're pretty flat.
Right.
And then on top of that, you got rates lowering. right now is the time to reach out to everyone.
Everyone.
People that curved you in the past and people that you text every day, they should be getting the same level of attention right now.
Yeah, this news is big news, and it needs to be spread amongst everyone. And then just let people decide what's best for them. At least they know they have an educated, they're educated on what's really happening today, and they can decide if it's worth it to go forward or not. So great point, man. Great point. Let's move into this, bro. I just realized today, I don't know if you saw the report yet. I have not. I think the Fed was going to, they met today, right?
They did. They're very neutral.
And so what did we get? Everyone was suspecting they were going to pause. But did they pause? Did we increase? Did they lower? Did you see the results?
I didn't listen to the conference.
You didn't listen to the conference?
I didn't listen to the conference, but I did see the highlights. They were very neutral.
Okay.
Powell he did not have anything to say to shoot anything up or give any reason for panic. Did not have anything to say in regards to stepping out completely. So they're very, very neutral, monitoring the market. Data-based evidence is what they're going based off of. So they're waiting for more data to come out. Just a very safe response. Very safe response, which I think you can take away from that is that the market is behaving the way that it should be in a healthier market, and we're going to let it continue to go that route.
Yeah, inflation is coming down.
Inflation's coming down. Things, all the measures that were taken over the past year and a half are finally coming, to the forefront here and creating some actual relief. And I think that they're willing to just let it ride out until a new problem presents itself. And I think that's the healthy thing to do. Yeah.
And even though I didn't see the report, it's fairly safe to say that they just paused. I don't see them increasing the Fed rate or definitely not cutting. Yeah, it's too early to cut.
There are some people that have made predictions for next year that they're going to be like 4 or 5 cuts.
I've heard anywhere between 4 to 8.
I do not. I'm totally fine with just leaving it alone.
Right. Well, as inflation continues, here's the thing. So I don't, this is what I'm hearing too. As inflation continues to decline, and if you got a Fed rate still over at 5.5, 5.5, it becomes restrictive in a sense. So the idea is that the Fed has to decrease a little bit just to not be as restrictive on the rate. So if they did cut, I don't see it happening before June next year, before summer, right? Just to ease a little bit, maybe a quarter point, maybe, I wouldn't say no more than 2 times next year. That's just me, if they do. But I think we're doing okay right now. It's things are balancing off and leveling off from what I'm seeing. So and we got a CPI report. We just got a CPI report, inflation reading, right? So headline actually came in very well. I think 3%.
Yeah,
3%.
Yeah, CPI for everybody out there. Consumer Price Index.
Yeah.
So they're evaluating the average cost of consumers, or for consumers of just regular goods. Right. So when they measure those, they want to see what's that average cost looking like, and what direction it's going and how quickly it's going in that direction.
Right. So. And it's like a tool of inflation, of how they measure inflation as well.
Right.
Right. But even though the favorite inflation tool, the data that the Fed likes is PCE, which is personal consumption expenditure, but that's another inflation reading. But we're just talking about CPI right now, and they do use that data as well to decide how inflation's coming. And it's broken down typically in two categories. You got headline, and then you got core. So you want to explain? Core is just the core inflation reading actually came out to be 4.0, and it's just minus energy and what is it? Gas and energy, I believe, and food. Right. So those 2 categories are taken out when they record core.
Basic recap. The cost of goods are not going up at the same pace that they were a year ago.
Exactly.
They're still going up, but that is normal. Understand that is normal. And what we don't want, and I know is probably contrary to what a lot of Americans probably want, is that we don't want the prices to drop dramatically.
Well, that's the issue. Yeah,
we do not want
deflation.
That. Yeah, we do not want that. And I know, in the normal household, they're like, man, this milk is costing too much. It needs to go down. It needs to go back down to $1.50. You don't want that. You don't want that steady increase. is evidence of healthy growth
right.
in any economics in your household, on your block, in your city, in your nation.
Right.
Steady growth is healthy. You don't want the prices crashing down. Sounds like it'd be a fire sale and you'd love it and you're going to stock up on that milk, but that's just not what you want. There are going to be repercussions. And we just finished dealing with the repercussions of suppressed rates and how they shot up, and now everything is super expensive very quickly. That's because they superficially suppressed the cost of goods or the cost of borrowing money. So you don't want that. You want a healthy increase. That's what we're getting back down to. We're getting back down to those healthy levels.
Exactly. It's a lot of moving parts, a lot of different pieces of data that has to all kind of work together, and it's tricky, you know, for the, for Jerome Powell, the Fed-elect to really to keep everything balanced, and to how to use the Fed rate to kind of take to slow down the economy, to speed it. And there's a lot of moving parts, right? You got a lot of factors. You got employment. You're paying attention to that. You're looking at inflation readings. You're looking at job readings. We had the job numbers.
How many are available? How many people are filing for unemployment? There's so many factors.
Numbers, a lot of different factors, and the Fed needs to take all that data and figure out what they're going to do to create the best outcome, to keep everything healthy, right? And keep us growing as a country. I want to say, what was the last, what was the oh my gosh, what's what I'm looking at? The Fed, we're 4.9 reading. 5.2 was the last reading we had for GDP. Sorry, I'm blanking out. Yeah, so GDP, right? That's the health. That just kind of shows the health of the country. So I think we're at 5.2 was the last reading. This quarter, we're expected to be lower, for sure. But that measures, how strong we are as a country, health wise, and and how we're viewed. So. And how much spending is being done, and the economy as a whole. So
and I know that this channel is heavily real estate based. We do talk about other topics, other things that may or may not be directly related to real estate in the market and things like that. But just overall, it is never a bad time, a wrong time, or a too busy or a too slow time to focus on understanding what all of this means to the best of your ability, and learning as much financial responsibility as possible. Financial literacy is something that when I speak to home buyers, it is a foreign language. It's a foreign language, and there's nothing stopping you right now from going and learning just the basics of how an economy works. There are some programs, there are some movies that really lay it out very, very plainly with actors that in them that lay it out very, very plainly. And now is a fantastic. I mean, like I said, there's no wrong time to do it, but right now is a good time to do that because opportunity is always there, but without the awareness, you're never going to see it.
Yeah, 100%. Just learn a little bit by little, read some financial, or look at some, we're all on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. It's all about who you follow, right? Just start following some financial people, the people that are talking about economics, people that are talking about finances. And, it's all about your feed. Your feed is kind of your sphere these days. That's who you're constantly, who keeps coming up in your feed is kind of who you're surrounding yourself around. And just start following people. And then slowly but surely you'll start learning more and understanding how the markets work and understanding, how everything goes together. So I think, it's very important on who you follow.
Right, and the internet has made it very, very easy and practical,
right,
to listen and follow people who don't even live in the same city as you,
right?
So there's a lot of information out there to learn from, but there's also, we talked about this earlier, and let's talk about this now. There's a lot of information.
Yes,
there's a lot of information online that can harm you.
100%. So
harm you.
Before we get into that, I want to just say that look at. How that old saying, you hang around 10 broke friends, you're going to be the 11th.
Right.
Everybody's heard that. Basically who you're around is your influence and who you're going to be most likely.
You're the
be.
average of the 5 people around you. You're
There you
all
go.
that. Right.
Now, today's society is a completely different, right? We're in this tech phase. This, the economy, the society we live in now has changed so much. Now, it is not really, doesn't have to be the physical friends. It's more, it applies to who we are following online and who we are watching. So who we are constantly seeing as we're flipping through TikTok or Instagram. I love TikTok. Just say that.
Do you? I don't even have one. So.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I gotta make
like
one.
I said,
I gotta make one.
I think everything could be good for you. It's all about what you choose to watch,
the purpose.
and that's the thing, right? And the more you look at certain subjects or topics, the more it's going to feed you. The system's going to feed you. So if you're just looking at financial and economics and stuff, you're going to see more and more of that, and that's the way you're going to be educated. However, back to my point, it's the same thing. Whoever you're following, the more people you're following, what you're consuming, what you're watching every day on social media is pretty much who you're going to end up turning to be like and start acting like. So we have choices, and it's nothing wrong with having an even balance too, as well. But if you're looking at negative things all day online and bad news and conspiracy theories that are just negative and doomsday, you're going to eventually start being depressed. You're going to start feeling down. And then you're going to feel like it's probably get to the point where you don't even realize why you're feeling down and depressed. It's because of what you're feeding your brain over and over and what you're constantly looking at over and over. And it applies to TV as well, TV shows. Like you just got to be cautious of what information you let inside. You got to protect yourself and your mind.
Right.
Because whatever you see is going to affect you mentally. I'd rather it be positive things, things that I'm learning, spiritual, God, what's happening in the world, statistics, financial information. Like those are the most important things, that I want to,
right.
I follow and listen to. So if I keep hearing it over and over, that's doing something to me internally, without even knowing. So just a good piece of advice there.
Yeah. And I don't know that that's always 100% in your control. And I say 100% because I would say 99% is in your control of what you're watching, what you're listening to, what type of material you're consuming. But I know that each and every one of these platforms, which is kind of what we were talking about earlier, what makes them dangerous is that they do have these algorithms that are going to shoot in front of you more of what you're spending time on, more of what you took the time to watch. As far as a video or a clip or whatever information you read, they will put more of that in front of you.
Exactly.
So even though the algorithm is in charge of putting what's in front of you, it's still you to a degree stating, hey, this is what I'm enjoying. This is what I'm interested in.
There you go.
I see, okay, I'm going to go ahead and skip by this investing page and then boom, Kim Kardashian, keeping up with the Kardashians, they're going to throw you more of that.
Oh yeah.
They're going to throw you more of that, so, and it leads to a lot of, in the very beginning, it's entertainment. Everybody views sports as entertainment. Keeping up with the Kardashians, entertainment. In the very beginning, it's that way until it begins to take root and you start comparing yourself and saying, should I be doing this?
Right.
Should I be living this way? Why am I not living this way? Why don't I have the same options that these people do, these athletes do, that these celebrities do? You start comparing yourself, and it leads to a really, really dark place of I'm not good enough, And I think these social media websites are very, very dangerous if you if you're not able to check yourself,
Great point, because I come across quite a few people, and a lot of what's surprising. I was talking to my daughter, and a lot of the Gen Zs and younger generations, even older ones too, but a lot of them just do not have an Instagram, and I just want to speak about that because Instagram seems to be the platform where most people have the most struggles with, I guess, by what they're seeing and how it affects them mentally, and like what you were just saying, you're seeing, someone that's your age or seemingly your age, seemingly doing a lot better than you are, right? And maybe it's having more money, living more successful, and then what it does, it makes you kind of question yourself, right? And you're like, well, shoot, I'm the same age, or I'm maybe older, or why aren't I doing that, right? Which is very interesting. I get it, I totally understand it. And it's really a self-esteem thing. It's really, and just understand, guys, like I told my daughter, I was like, for one, and she knew this, majority of the time, a lot of that is not real. It's like you're not getting the whole picture of people's life. You're getting snapshots, right? You're getting what people want you to see, right? It looks good. It always looks good on camera, but now you get to their real life, A lot of times the people are dealing with a lot of things. It may look successful on one end. As soon as the camera's off, you don't see the part, oh, this person's crying, they're depressed, they're lonely, they're not happy. A lot of times too, the money you're seeing or what they're showing you is not even theirs, right? It's just a facade to get clicks, right, and likes. Meanwhile, you got the other person on their end seeing this, thinking it's real, thinking this person has the best life ever, and feel down in themselves,
right,
to where they just don't want to even look at it anymore because it's depressing them, because they're feeling less than. But the crazy thing is that I know for like people, we all have issues, we all have struggles, we all have things that aren't right with our life, right? So you just don't know what other people are going through. A lot of times it's things you don't even want to deal with. You know what I mean? Like you might, let me just give an example, right? You might have a great relationship with your family and you guys are good. You may not have the most money, but everyone gets along. Now you see a person online, supposedly got all this, they're maybe beautiful, apparently rich, but you don't know that they have no family. They don't have a mom or dad, or they don't have support like you think. They don't, there's a lot of things that they deal with that you don't deal with. And you just got to understand, whatever is in your life for you is for you. And self-esteem comes within, right? And in time, God has a plan for all of us. We all have special abilities inside ourselves. And the reason a lot of times we can't find out what it is we like or what we're here for and what our special ability is because we're spending more time looking at what other people are doing and not looking within ourselves, or hearing what other people are telling us about ourselves, about the great things that they see in us, or talents that we have, and focus and going in on that. So that's just a little bit of message, and it's so sad that we see it all the time. And a lot of people are saying they don't have social media anymore. They never have it. They don't like it, and it's just because of what they're seeing. And they feel like it's and it makes them feel, unfortunately, less confident, about themselves when that's all wrong. That whole mindset is so wrong, there's good and bad with everything, Just because you have a lot of money does not make a person happy, and we see it time and time again.
Yeah.
And we could easily say that, and people are like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, but if I get $1 million, no. How many millionaires that are committed suicide? How many depressed? It only fixes one issue. It fixes that you can pay a bill. Now, just because you can pay a bill, that's one less stress. But I'm sure other people, you guys have many blessings that they don't even see. You got a good family, you got children, you got a brother, you got a sister, you got a mom, you got a dad you got people that love you. You got other things in your life that are great and positive that you're just overlooking. You might have a talent, you might be able to draw, you might be able to sing, you might be able to, everyone has special abilities and has things that they're a little bit better than someone else is, right? It's just a matter of figuring that out. Like, for instance, one person might be great at writing stories and books. I might not have that skill, right? I might have more money than this person, but they have this talent to do something amazing, and they could change the world potentially with that if they just look in with themselves and figure out what their strengths are and just go all in on that. It's so much that we can do if we just focus in ourselves a little bit more and not let other things on the outside influence how we feel on the inside. I know I went on for a while, but
Yeah, you didn't have much to say about that topic at all, did you?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say much on that. You know, I don't. Yeah,
I guess you didn't want to answer that question. I guess you didn't have much to say, huh?
I had a little bit to just talk. Yeah,
man, hey, you laid out a lot. Hey, I'm gonna have to run back that portion of that clip, and listen to that. You shot out a lot of nuggets there, man.
Yeah. I know it probably.
One of the things you touched on was mindset, man.
Yeah.
One of the things you touched on was mindset, and I know we've talked about that before on the show.
Yeah.
Whether it's business related, real estate related, or not, mindset for survival is something else.
It is.
You know, and if you have the mindset of comparing, envious, jealousy while you're on these websites and on these social media platforms, that mindset is going to get you hurt internally. It's going to hurt your relationships that you have. It's going to hurt your own internal self-esteem issues. There's a lot that can come from that when that's the mindset that you have. So I heard you say mindset, and you talked about it there, and that's huge, man.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And I just want to say this for all those who deleted their Instagram or don't have Instagram or Facebook specifically because they feel less than because they're seeing this. What I would say, just add it again. However, only follow things that are going to uplift you and build you up, right? You don't have to follow all these people that are supposedly giving a facade that they've got it made and they're rich, which is really, it's just entertainment, guys. So just know that. But don't follow them. Follow people that help you learn. Like if whatever you're into, whatever your hobby, follow more of them, learn more, educate yourself, get better at whatever it is you're into. And then you'll find yourself that way, right? More, and it can be very beneficial. So you gotta use social media as a tool, as opposed to more just entertainment purposes. It could be entertaining, but look at it more as a tool to improve yourself and to learn more and to educate yourself. And it doesn't hurt every now and then to look at some entertaining things, laughter and things like that. But you want to go more in on what's going to help you and give you positive. Follow people that are giving like positive quotes and motivational talks and things like that to get your, and that's going to definitely change how you think and feel.
Yeah,
100% will.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So,
I think a lot of times the priorities or the breakdown of somebody's day, they do leave a portion for, let me work on myself.
Yeah.
Let me take an hour. Let me take an hour of just me and just reflecting on my day.
Yeah.
And I think it would be more beneficial, at least in the very beginning, until you can learn to balance it, to flip that script and say, well, let me take an hour to watch Netflix.
Yeah.
And instead, I'm going to spend the rest of my hours reflecting on me. Reflecting on what I should be consuming, reflecting on whether social media is helping me or not helping me. But they carve out so little time for that.
That's it.
And a ton of time for everything else. Flip that script and see what it does for your life.
Right. And that's just it, man. It's so interesting how a lot of people will feel down, feel like they're not accomplishing what they want, have that comparison mentality, which we all compare ourselves. It's just there's levels and different levels of it. For the ones that, feeling down and low self-esteem because of that, look at how you're like Mark just said, how are you spending your day and your valuable time, your free time? Everyone works, of course. You get off work. What are you doing after work? What are you spending more time? Are you looking at Netflix and binge watching over and over? And if so, nothing's going to ever change, right? You can't expect to improve your life and the way you feel by doing the same thing that's not really being productive, right? Because looking at a TV show is not going to be productive. However, looking at something that's going to put you in a better mindset or learning something new, you're going to feel more accomplished. You're going to feel like you've accomplished more for the day. You're going to feel better about yourself. And it's going to be one little step towards where you want to be in the future. Mm-hmm. If you want to change your life, if you want to be successful and have these amazing things, you need to put some time to figure out who you are, how to improve yourself, because every day we can be better, and take little steps towards what it is that you decide to do with your life. And it's all about learning and empowering yourself. And it does start off of who you're watching, what you're watching, what you're feeding your mind.
100%.
Yeah, so that's it. That's what I was thinking.
And start by watching. Heat Speakers.
And watch Yeah, if you got to subscribe, you got to follow
Step
us.
one. Step one.
That's it. You know,
Shameless plug. Step one. Watch Heat Speakers podcast.
Yeah, you know, there's a show called The Heat Speakers you guys might want to check out sometimes. You know,
Hey,
but
you
that's
know what?
Yeah, man. What else? Oh, did you want to touch on something a little political? What have you? Are you keeping up with the? We don't have to go deep, but are you keeping up with all the wars we're in and countries and Israel, Palestine, Hamas? There's a lot going on over there. Then we got on the other side, we got the Ukraine and Russia. It's a lot going on, man. A lot going on in the world, right? China's another questionable out there. You got, what do you? I mean, any thoughts?
So I think we talked about this. It was a while back on the pod when we were talking about how politics plays into our household or us as an individual, and it's politics to me because I'm living here in the USA and we are not actively on that field. It is not. I'm watching cars pass by at going home traffic right outside this window right now.
Right. And it's only 3 o'clock. It's 3 p.m. here, guys. It's just daylight saving times is crazy in California. It's 3 p.m. Look at it. Daylight saving
it's actually not far off. 5, maybe it's 5.
It's still early.
But okay, so that is not here on the home front. So as much as I would love to dive in and find out, what's wrong, what's right, what should we be doing, what can we do on an individual level, what can we do on a community level to impact, these issues that are happening, across our borders. It's just not something that draws a lot of my attention, because there are plenty in my own household, under my own roof, that draw my attention. So the priority level for me is something that kind of really stops or hinders me researching more about what's going on over there. So what I know is very basic. Not enough to really even speak on as far as like offering a solution or what I think about what's going on. I've read reports about Israel and Gaza Strip and Hamas and the types of crimes that are being committed over there and things like that. But the factual side of things, how true is a lot of this stuff coming out of there, I haven't dove into too much because I'm careless or because it's not bothering me, so I don't care. It's not like that. It's just that there's a lot that I need to get in order in my own house. Right. Prior to me, investing my time and energy.
No, that's a good point, because a lot of people feel the same. That we need to spend, as far as giving trillions of dollars to these other countries to support wars and things. A lot of people feel we those dollars could be definitely more useful here home, because we have a lot of issues here in our own country. Homelessness and It just crime is high in a lot of cities. It's just the borders are just wide open. We don't know who's in the country. I mean, there's a lot we have to do here to secure ourselves and make us stronger. To where I totally understand that. People are dealing with their own daily struggles, right? But I just say I'm gonna just leave it at this. I think I just feel we just need to pray for everyone.
Yep.
Right. I don't think I've even heard this, which is interesting. I haven't, and I've always felt this. I feel like we need to pray for Israel. We need to pray for Palestine, right? Everyone as a whole, because it's just unfortunate situation altogether. There's a lot of innocent people that are just, being affected, whether they're Palestinian or whether they're Israel. They're Jewish, right? War, just bombs. They have no name. It's just, it affects a lot of people. Hospitals are being bombed. School. It's just so sad. Kids. Either way, I would just say pray for both. I pray for both sides. Pray for everyone. Pray for peace. Pray for intervention. And God has a plan. No one knows why, but there is a plan, right? And just keep that in mind. Just hopefully, the killing stop. And somehow there's some kind of medium, some kind of peace that is found between everyone, the countries, right? Because, it's just a lot at risk. It could turn to ugly, if the wrong wrong thing happens, it could turn explosive to where other countries could get involved, and then it could turn into a mess.
Yeah.
So just hopefully nothing like that happens.
Yeah. I did hear former President Donald Trump say in a clip one time about this specific topic.
Oh, you voted for Trump? Cool.
No. I heard this in a clip.
Hey, I'm
that
not
he
really
said,
political. It doesn't matter to me.
What he said, it was fairly recent. He said, I just want people to stop dying.
Yeah.
And
at the end of the day,
and I'm just Mark Rocha here in Fresno, California. Not too sure how much I can do about stopping them from dying, but
you can pray.
I can pray, and I can directly impact my household to not raise my children to even have the notion of killing. Right. Even if something is if they are in the right and something is rightfully wrong and they are being wronged, teaching my own household that killing is not the answer.
Right.
If that's how I can assist the world in stopping,
that's it.
I just want people to stop dying.
That's
what he said. And that's what better answer? What better answer is there other than I just want people to stop dying?
That's it.
Whatever
resolution we need to resolve, however it needs to work out, and it's just tough. It's they've been two groups have been fighting for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Long time.
And it's I guess it's religious based. At least it started that way. Like I said, just pray for both sides, and what's going to happen is going to happen. It's going to be meant to happen. It's God's plan. We have no control of that, and I think that's pretty much where I guess I'm gonna leave it at. It's unfortunate at the end of the day, right?
Right.
So, but it's so weird. Oh, one thing I would say, it's weird. It's interesting how some people will look at you or have an issue with you if you say. If you just say, "Oh, prayers to one side," then it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see a problem with praying for both, for everyone.
Yeah, that's social media coming back in, man.
Yeah,
you say something on there, and you want to just express your concern for something. You go online, you read that comment section. Right. They're coming for your neck.
They will.
They're coming for your neck, and you just gotta get off that, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
well, the thing is
wild to me.
A lot of people feel like you can't be in the middle and praying for both sides. It's like you got to choose a side, and I don't know why people have to be forced or felt like they have to pick a side. It's just like kind of like our country, Democrats, Republican. Like, are you this or are you that? Well, what about the middle ground? There's always a middle road, right? Because one side can't be always right, and the other side can't be always right, and there's faults with each side. Let's take the good from each, and let's look at it that way, and then how we can implement better. So there's nothing wrong with being in the middle. It's just having solutions that are going to make sense. That's going to be the best solution for to resolve a situation at the end of the day.
What do you think the current this side or that side is right now in America?
Well, yeah, America's. We're definitely supporting Israel 100%.
No,
is that what you meant?
Not necessarily on that
okay,
war, but just as a country, what do you think America is divided over the most right now?
Well,
let me just give you just to touch on some of the hot ones over the past 4 years. We'll just do 4 years. There was white and black, right? Republican, Democrat, male, female, two genders, multiple genders. Like these are a lot of things that divide the country. What would you say? What would you say like the main division right now? Because they just flip through phases. I mean, you listen to the talk at gatherings with your friends, gathering with your family. You listen to the topics that come up. You can tell what's dividing America right now. What would you say that main division
I think right now, because especially we're heading into election year, it just seems like the Democrat and Republican Just the tension has gotten worse and worse over the course of the year or two. It's just gotten stronger. Didn't we just see the other day in Congress? It was about to be a fight between I guess the senators or someone. They were about to literally fight.
Wow.
In the court. So it was just. It's just so divided right now.
Isn't it crazy?
Man. It just doesn't make
Like I just rattled off 4 topics, and that's in the past 3 years that America as a whole has been divided on. That's crazy.
It is
right.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's crazy, and it's weird how it just moves from one topic to another, and at no point, regardless of the topic, is there a third option of hey, we're good.
Yeah,
we're good with everything. Like we're good with both. We can live in unison. There's enough room on this earth.
Right.
That's never an option.
Well, they do
crazy.
have parties like if you're running independent and the guys that are
where
coming
do they go?
out, but you just don't. They
get pushed down.
Yeah,
like,
you don't.
No.
Yeah,
it's us and them, little guy. It's us and them. You know what I mean? Like it just gets pushed down.
Those are the 2 major parties, of course, and
crazy.
And it is crazy. It's crazy that you got to choose a side. It's like, and then if you turn on CNN, you're going to hear everything bad. They're going to talk mess about Republicans, and you go to Fox News, and you're going to hear all that stuff about Democrats. So it's like it's really turned into like a bashing type of thing. Everyone's talking bad about the other side, and nothing's getting done. It just where are the outcomes? Where are the solutions? Who's coming up with good ideas of how we can work together? Right? Everyone's talking about how bad something else is. Someone's doing how the president is not fit, which is could be true, but like we're focusing too much on the wrong things and not figuring out enough, or not really what it is. Honestly, no one's listening to each other. That's the main issue. One of the biggest issues. No one is taking time to listen fully and consider the other side's opinion and really think about it. That's a major issue, because if a Republican poses something, it may be a pretty good, decent, idea or policy. You're going to get maybe a Democrat. Democrats are going to probably, if they even fully hear out what the point is, it seems like it's just automatic getting ready to bash it. They're just waiting to say, they're just waiting to say something to oppose what that.
And it's the same the other way around.
And it's
but
just
what you're
because
saying,
you're on a different team, and which is horrible. And that's why things take so long to and that's why, unfortunately China, and they're like tech wise, they're way ahead. They're just killing. They're it's opportunity for other countries to go ahead of us, because we're so divided and fighting over these little issues to where it's like nothing's really moving fast. Nothing's getting resolved fast enough. Nothing's getting passed fast, because it's always, back and forth, just to get this to pass. And now, after months or years of back and forth, we finally got some. So it's just things move slow. There's no middle ground. No one's really taking time to even fully listen and consider, other people's point of view.
Right.
So listening is very important, man. And just assessing it, seeing if it really is a good thing to do or not.
So where would you say that the best place is, or the best resource to learn how to communicate, understand, listen, have empathy and sympathy for somebody's situation, and come to a resolution rather than conflict? Where would you say somebody should go to learn how to better do those things?
Well, there's one great book, the best book ever written.
Yeah.
Which may be a little bit hard to decipher for some people, which is the Bible, but
100%.
There's a lot of text out there that you can that makes it understandable, and they kind of, there's Audible, there's ways you can, there's different forms and ways of listening to the Bible these days, which is amazing, right? The standard Bible, there's a lot of wording and verbiage in there. You may, maybe a little bit hard to read at times. It's the older English and the way things are written.
It's all good. Take your time.
Yeah, take your time, right?
It's all good. Take your time.
Or you can go find a book, or where it's written more in layman's terms, right? And it's broken down, and because you really want to get the full understanding of it, what it means. But yeah, that's that right there.
Number one.
Following the teachings. So it teaches you how to live life.
I mean, you nailed it right there. So my next follow-up question for you was, do you think that all of this division, regardless of topic, is due to the exclusion of God?
A lot of it is.
I 100% believe so, man.
And
I'm new in my faith, but when I would say maybe March, April is when I decided to turn my life around, man, and submit to
blessing.
God and understand what it is exactly He is trying to tell me, and learn more about His Word and His teachings and His way of living. It didn't take me very long to go to look at this and say the problem with this world is that they have excluded God.
100%.
You look at all this division, male, female.
Yeah.
I mean, He wants you to love your neighbor, not decide whether or not that's a girl or a boy,
Right.
not decide whether or not, do I like this person? Do I not? You love your neighbor.
That's it. Work together.
Love your neighbor. You don't
we
judge
all
them.
need each other.
You don't judge them. That's not for you to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, man, to me, all this division,
That's it.
exclusion of God
You hit the nail on the head.
But I mean, we might have some listeners who don't believe in God. So hey, we're not discouraging you from listening to this. I'm right here on this microphone, encouraging you to reach out and explain to me what you see, and I guarantee you, I will listen actively. I will communicate effectively with you.
Yeah.
I will hear your side. I will feel your side. You know what I mean? We will come to a resolution on how we can still be friends, or we can still do business, or we can still connect online. That's what's going to happen because God is in my life.
There you go.
And He will not allow me to say, how do we block them? Rich, show me how to block this person.
Yeah. I don't want to hear what they have to say.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Which
And
is-
I think when you look at these other topics and you inject God into them, you won't see as much division.
100%. You hit the nail on the head, man.
Bang.
That's a mic drop right there, man.
Bang.
And that's
Don't
something.
tempt me.
And that has been brought up quite a few times. You know how first religion was taken even out of the schools, right? I don't recall what year it was. I don't know if it was in the 90s or late 2000s, or early 2000s. But yeah, when religions were banned, they're not teaching that in schools, and just saw the decline happening. And what's so interesting, man. And I hope this is not a thing, but I was talking to a Gen Zer, and they were telling me how a lot of their friends that they hung out with weren't believing in God anymore.
I believe it. A year ago, that was
right?
me.
Yeah.
I believe it.
So, and that's so unfortunate when you hear like the younger generation is. And so, what does that say about our country, that we failed? The schools have failed. Our country. If they can't even teach religion, which is sad. It has to come from the parents, And here's one thing I want to say. I'm not some person that got it all right, and I do a lot of wrong stuff. I have to learn a lot, but what I have learned over the years is that when you're raising kids, us parents, we tell we're like, how many times you see parents raise up kids and the kids end up, going to jail and doing crime, and what's the one thing you hear the parent? I didn't raise them to be that way, right? I didn't teach them to do that. I taught them to be a good person, or blah blah blah, right? But they fail to understand is telling kids is one thing, which really, I don't even know if that it's even effective and too much anymore. It's telling kids to do this and that. They're going to go off of what they see you
100%.
do. So you could tell a kid, don't curse. Cursing, you do not curse. You're young, you don't curse. And right after that, you're cussing someone out.
Right. F that.
That's just one little example, right? So we do,
100%.
yeah. So we got to very be conscious of how we are acting. We're telling our kids to do one thing. We need to follow that lead and just do it, even if we're not telling them not to do or do this. Just by your actions and the way they see you, they're watching every steps we make. We just got to be that example, because they're going to do what we do. They're not going to do what we say. Now, if we're doing the right thing, they're going to be more inclined to listen as well, because now we're not only telling them to do this, but they're watching us act a certain way. So now they're like, oh, well, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do, and you'll see a difference. One last thing about, I don't know how we got on this topic, but
Just go ahead. Keep
last
going.
part
Keep
of
going.
that is what I've learned too over the years, and this, like I said, a lot of stuff is just recent things I'm learning. Because I was raised different, right? When I was young and a kid, and I would say something to my parents or bring up, so like if they're having a discussion and I want to interject or say something, what was the one thing we're always told? Quiet. This is you're a kid. This is
Adults are
remain in
talking.
your place. Right. You don't talk when
Yeah.
adults, the grown folks are talking. Go to your room. You have no place for a kid to talk. Or so basically that let a kid know that really they don't have a voice. It really silenced kids, and now holding that in, and now they feel they can't let out true feelings. I feel the opposite now about that. I feel that let kids express themselves, let kids say certain things, because believe it or not, what I've learned is we learn from kids just as much as they learn from us. And I know a lot of prideful parents are looking like, oh, what are you to heck? No, how was that? 100%, guys. We learn from our kids just as much. And the reason I say that, because if we sit there and listen to kids sometimes, they're gonna, a lot of times they tell the truth. They just say what it is, how they feel, what's going on. Like for instance, my kid, he both my daughter too. Like just watching them, listening how they talk. Let me give one example. This is just one example. I remember we were on a trip. It was like my son and his cousins, right? They were all in a room. I forgot what happened, but I went to the room and kind of got on my son because he was doing something, right? And I think I raised my voice a little bit,
okay,
and got and his cousin was like, "Hey, you didn't have to yell just like that. You could have just did this or said this, and he would have got it." Like, and it was something to that extent, but it was so deep that it just hit me. I had to step back. I was like, wait a minute, that actually makes sense. Like, yeah. I don't have to just come in here yelling.
Yeah, I could have done that.
I could have just came and just said, hey, this is what you need to do, and this is the reason, and just talk to him regular, and then it could have been resolved and without any issue, crying or drama after that. So again, that was just one example where listening to a youth could definitely help you out in the future, right? It just So again, I would never leave it. I wouldn't put up a guard or a block like, oh, you're a young kid, I'm not listening to you. No, we got to be open minded. We got to learn to listen to everything, good and bad, and then decide. Give kids opportunity to express themselves. And we're wise enough to see if it makes sense and really think about it, like, whoa, shoot, that makes sense. Like, yeah. And so now, ever since his cousin did that was years ago. That changed the way I act now towards, and I've gotten good results. So again, we can't be so prideful. Let your pride go, let your ego go, guys. That hinders us, that holds us back from everything without being open-minded, learning and bettering ourselves. Being too prideful. So,
yeah, and I don't know if you caught it or maybe the viewers caught it earlier in this podcast when I said we were talking about some world events, and we were talking about Israel and Palestine and my thoughts on it. The only thing that I said I could do was teach and raise my children, and I don't know if maybe people may have had the idea or the reasoning of maybe say like, oh, come on, Mark, you can do more than that. That's in your own household. You can do more than that. But everything we've been talking about has been about how we can affect our children. And if everybody did that, if you just think everybody did that and taught their kids conflict resolution and poured more of their energy and effort into their children, would we have countries full of people who think violence is the answer, Right. So even though that's a task for me and just me, and it may seem like a selfish task when we're talking about, Israel and Palestine, for me, that's huge. Who knows if that doesn't happen here 30 years from now. My kids won't be on the front line because I'm teaching them.
Or 5 years.
I'm pouring into them. Yeah.
Or 2 years. Next, I mean,
I don't know. 2 years, my kids will be 8 and 6. I don't think they're going to be on the front lines.
Saying that. Oh,
I'm saying when I pour into them,
gotcha,
if everybody was you know what? Let me direct my attention in house.
Yeah.
Let me have an impact on what I have control over, which is my household.
Right.
And eventually, it's going to lead to a world, a nation, a country, a county full of people who are behaving and reacting appropriately to where we don't have what's going on over there. So even though, like I said, I kind of try to stay out of it. I mean, there's so much more that I have control over that I focus on instead of what's halfway across the world.
Right.
It still technically is a solution. Let me take care of my household so that they don't go on and create some of these problems that we're experiencing.
And you
today.
know what? That's really it. And you have a bigger voice than that. I don't think you realize, but yeah, not only your kids and everyone, our audience. We're able to bring information and to share our ideas and opinions, and hopefully, it influences positively someone that's listening, or if not as many
30
people
more people, 40 more, 50 more.
Yeah,
That's still
one more person is
one
good.
more.
Changing lives, helping out as much as we can, and that's really what this basis of this podcast is about, man.
Right.
Sharing ideas and influences, and letting people know, what we've been through, what we've learned, and hopefully that helps out other people.
Yeah.
Just, our experiences alone, hopefully it just helps out other people. As we grow and as we get better, we don't got all the answers. We're still learning, and that's the beauty of life. Life is learning. You'll never have all the answers. That's why open your mind, and I'm not too prideful to listen to a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old say something. I'm going to think about it, and if it makes sense, I'm going to use it and try to keep that characteristic in my life, and move accordingly, and just be and by what I do, all my actions, not just vocalizing, but all my actions, making sure I'm doing the right thing, and showing a good, showing a good path, or being a good role model for the young kids and young generation. Doing what I say what I do. That's all we can do is our part, like you said, man.
That's it.
Lead by example.
Yeah. People want to save the world. Just save what you have control over, and you'll see the effects on the world come
You know
later.
what? You gave me a thought, man. I mean, life it's not easy. We don't have all the answers, but over the last few months, I've been seeing things and posts on whether it's Facebook or social media, from peers, people that are kind of my age or a little younger, but feeling like they just haven't figured it out, right? Like, even though we haven't figured everything out, but it feels like they really just need life coaching in a sense, right? Or just a good role model to follow, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, we all need it, we all could use it, and it's just different levels of where we are with our journey and finding ourselves and getting our mindset right and figuring out who we need to be and who we need to be for our family and who it is, what we're trying to accomplish. It's a lot. It is a lot, right? The whole journey. But there's so many people like that just are just lost in a sense.
Yeah.
And then that could turn into depression and getting down. I don't know. I figure like there got to be solutions. I don't know if we can start something, or courses. I don't know, just group, something that people can come together. If that's something people are interested, maybe they should just chime in, and we'll listen to what they want. If they want
chime in, or any professionals who are in this field who have material or practices or worksheets for people to do to really narrow in and figure out what they should be focusing on, because a lot of times it's really just priorities are out of whack.
That's it.
When you're deciding what my closet has nothing in here to wear for this event that I'm going to over the weekend, that is going to leave me, drunk and just whatever. They're worrying about all of this other stuff, and they're not concerned at all about the next 50 years of their life. They're not concerned at all about how their parents feel, how their siblings feel. They're not concerned at all about the immediate things in front of them. So a lot of times it's just priorities out of whack. So if there's somebody out there who's got a course already or has some sort of worksheet that can help people really dial in and focus on where their attention should be, man, that'd be great, man. Give us a resource to provide.
You hit it right, bro. That's a great because I know myself. It took me many years before I really tried to figure out who it is I am and who I want to be. Unfortunately, some people never figure it out. And like you said, people spend 50 years. A lot of times people they'll get 50 and then like, oh shoot,
oops.
What is it? What should I be doing? This is, I spent most of the time just trying to have fun and not even focus on what my life is about. But yeah, man, I don't know what causes that change in a person. I think I know with me. I think I do know. It's life events,
Yeah.
If you take leaps of faith and anything life events that's gonna really get your mind like, okay, I need to get on my stuff right now. I need to really figure this out, And then you take that path and stay on that journey of whatever it is. But this, it's definitely something's a lot of times something that has to shake us up,
Yeah.
You know, so that's it. Oh man,
We've had a long one.
let's leave them with. Let's talk about this little raffle real quick, and then we can leave them with that because we did tell them in the beginning. So hey, if you guys hung around this long, definitely. We got a raffle, guys. It's Christmas time. It's holiday season, man. Going to a new year, so me and Mark will decide to start giving away, do giveaways, right? So the first giveaway is going to be a raffle for. We may do one or two, but a Heat Speakers shirt, T-shirt,
Heat Speakers T-shirt. Right.
So we're gonna do a raffle for that. Anyone who enters into this raffle for the shirt will be also entered into a raffle for a $200 gift card that me and Mark is gonna give, and the raffle. I would say this. Let's do this, guys. Anyone who shares our last Instagram post. So go to our Instagram page.
As of today.
December 13th. Starting today, guys. Ready, set, go. Go to our Instagram page. The last post that was posted, share it. We're going to get all the names of everyone who shares it. We're going to put them in a pot. We're going to do all this on camera, so it's not going to be any funny stuff going on. You guys are going to witness everything that we're doing. Once we get all the names, we're going to put them into a bowl. We're going to videotape it. We're going to pull out one name. We're going to pull out. Let's do two names for the first one.
Two for the shirts.
Two for the shirts. So we're going to have two winners for the T-shirt. All right. So everyone who shares it going to be entered that raffle. We're going to pull the two names. Boom. We're going to call out two winners next week for the shirts. All the people that still shared it, even if you won or not, you're going to be entered into the following week's raffle for a $200 gift card. And it's perfect timing because Christmas is here. You could use that. Yeah, that's definitely going
to send you into 2024 $200 richer.
Yeah.
Just by watching, supporting, and engaging with the Heat Speakers podcast.
That's it. And it's very simple. Just share. How easy is that?
Easy.
And
I'm going to do it. Can I win? I can win, right?
I mean, if you want to create another account and go on to someone else, if you're going to go the distance, man, be my guest. That means you must really need the money, man.
Ooh, boy.
No, it's just for the viewers, man. Let them, this is what we're doing it for.
Absolutely.
And we love everyone who supports us, and this is a way of us to give back to you guys. So keep tuning in. Got a lot for this year and next year.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in so far. I know we are at about a year. Right before, right after, don't know. We'll figure it out. We are at about a year. So if you have been here from video one, we truly appreciate you tuning in, sharing your opinions, engaging with us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the platforms. Thank you very much, and we are going to continue to deliver not just the real estate and market updates, but also these hot topics that we talk about, because this is Heat Speakers after all,
yes.
And we will continue to speak heat.
Heat, yes, guys. We got a lot of controversial topics coming up. It's gonna be fun. So
absolutely,
we have great guests too. We're gonna have some great
guests.
It's gonna get big next year.
We got guests lined up.
Stay tuned, man.
Thank you for tuning in. Till next time.
Peace.
Later.
All right, guys. I got that on camera. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it in there too. They're gonna laugh. I got a piece so bad. You got a the whole time? Huh?